Sisters, my elders, today inside these marble halls of the United Nations, history pauses. The General Assembly is in its 80th year. The same pageantry, the same protocols. Yet on this day, a young man from a landlocked nation stands at the edge of humiliation. I am Ibrahim Traoré, President of Burkina Faso. They expect me to read a confession not written by my own hand, a 12-page script drafted in Paris, in Washington, and Tel Aviv. It is meant to break me, to bend me before the watching world. But I did not come here to bow my head. I came here carrying not just my own name, but the memory of a continent that has endured centuries of fire. I know the weight of this moment, heavier than any medal or crown. Hundreds of leaders fix their gaze upon me, their eyes sharp as verdicts. Beyond these walls, millions are watching, holding their breath, waiting to see whether I will rise or crumble. Before me on this lectern lies a single file, a thin folder, yet filled with decades of betrayal, compromise, and shame. Its pages carry the ink of agreements signed under duress, of promises traded for silence. The air in this hall is thick, heavier than any applause could ever be. Not a whisper, not a cough, only the echo of my heartbeat in my ears. On every face, I see the same unspoken question etched like a scar. Is this the fall of a young president or the birth of a symbol? A leader who broke under pressure, or a man who stood so still the earth began to move around him? And I wonder if our ancestors, the ones who walked barefoot through fire, who refused chains even when it meant death, could see this instant. What would they call it? Would they brand it surrender, another page in the book of our humiliation? Or would they see in it the tremor of something new? The first breath of freedom, raw and unsteady but undeniable. This moment is not just mine, it belongs to the miners and farmers, the mothers and students, the soldiers who chose hunger over betrayal, the children who still dream under broken roofs. It belongs to every name whispered in struggle, every grave left unmarked. Here, under the cold glare of these lights, I carry them all. And whatever happens when I open my mouth, whether my words ignite or silence, history will judge not my posture, but my choice. I know the weight of this moment. It is heavier than any crown that could be placed upon my head, heavier than any chain that could be fastened to my wrists. Hundreds of leaders stare at me from their seats, each of them cloaked in power, calculation, and expectation. Their gazes do not merely observe, they weigh, they measure, they search for signs of weakness or resolve. Beyond these walls, millions watch across the globe, in crowded cafes and dimly lit living rooms, in villages where a single flickering screen has gathered a crowd. They lean forward not just to see a speech, but to witness a turning point. Before me lies a single file on this lectern. To the eye it is thin, almost ordinary, but I know its contents are anything but. Its pages are a history of deals and betrayals, signatures made under duress, concessions dressed up as progress. It is a ledger of our dignity, sold line by line, in exchange for illusions of security and prosperity. It is the weight of decisions made long before I stood here, yet it is mine to answer for now. The silence in this hall is a living thing. It presses against my skin, denser than any applause, more deafening than any outcry. It is the silence of people holding their breath, of centuries hanging suspended between one heartbeat and the next. On every face I read the same question carved into their features. Is this the fall of a young president or the birth of a symbol? Will I become another name in the long list of those who promised and then yielded? Or will this be the instant where something larger than one man begins? And in the quiet, I think of those who came before, our ancestors who walked barefoot through fire, who spoke freedom when the price was death, who sang in chains so their children might one day stand. If they could see this moment, this hall, these lights, this frail folder between my hands, how would they name it? Would they call it surrender, another carefully staged humiliation, or would they see it as something else? The trembling, defiant first breath of freedom, because this moment does not belong only to me. It belongs to the farmers whose fields have been stripped, to the miners who vanish into shafts of darkness, to the mothers who bury their sons with calloused hands and unbroken eyes. It belongs to the students who dare to question, to the soldiers who chose hunger over betrayal, to the children who dream under roofs cracked by rain, but not by resignation. I am here because of them, and I carry them like a chorus inside me. I feel the pulse of history in my chest. I feel its eyes on my back, urging me, warning me. And I understand that whatever words I choose next, whether they bring fire or calm, whether they are met with cheers or condemnation, they will not be measured only as a speech. They will be measured as a choice to bow or to stand, to perpetuate or to break. This is not just an address, it is a crossing, and on the far side of this crossing something will be born, either another page of compromise or the beginning of a different story, one written not in the ink of treaties, but in the breath of a free people. This so-called confession accuses Burkina Faso of destabilizing our region, of undermining international peace, of obstructing cooperation. It demands acknowledgement, apology, submission. The logic is clear. If the young president bows, our rebellion against foreign dictates will collapse. Burkina Faso will return to the fold, chastened and silent. For some in this room, that is the evening's expected climax. For them, my age makes me a convenient target. Barely past my mid-30s, I am one of the youngest heads of state to mount this platform. Many doubt my endurance. Some whisper I am reckless. Others predict I will not last a year in office, and yet here I stand, not merely surviving, but standing at the very heart of world diplomacy. This silence is not ordinary silence. It is the hush of anticipation, like the pause before a verdict is read. Western delegations lean forward, expecting compliance. African delegations sit straighter, hoping for defiance, but fearing betrayal. Cameras hover, feeding live images into homes and offices across the globe. Every gesture, every flicker of my eyes is being studied. I approach the podium with steady steps. My uniform is plain, stripped of medals, a soldier's attire rather than a statesman's robe. I carry no notes of my own, only the file they have placed before me. I adjust the microphone. For a heartbeat, the entire hall freezes. Will I lift the paper and read the words forced upon me? Will I sign my own submission before the watching world? Or will I discard this script of humiliation and write one of my own? Every president before me has known the weight of compromise, the necessity of diplomacy, but compromise did not bring me to this stage. I come from a country often dismissed as small, landlocked, irrelevant. Yet Burkina Faso has bled in battles against insurgents, has buried leaders who dared speak of dignity. My very presence at this podium continues a line traced back through Sankara, through Lumumba, through every African voice silenced before its time. I look down at the file they have placed before me. For a long second, it might seem I will lift it, unfold the confession, and let the humiliation play out. Instead, with one deliberate motion, I close it, pressing the pages flat against the wood. The act is quiet, but in that silence, the chamber shifts. The defendant has just rejected the prosecutor's script. Now my voice rises, calm at first, then sharper with every phrase. Let us speak, I say, of the first great crime. My words carry not just to the microphones, but into the memory of centuries. I speak of the transatlantic slave trade, 12 million Africans torn from their homes, shackled in iron, forced across oceans. This is not distant history, it is the foundation of Western empires. The wealth of cotton, of sugar, of coffee was built not on labor, but on blood. Delegates shift in their seats. This is not the language of diplomacy, this is indictment. The second crime is financial slavery. I speak of the CFA franc, a currency still chained to Paris,